Yeah, what's good, people? You're tuned in to another discussion with Underdog Gamer 1982, and today we're revisiting why I think PUBG is dead or is dying a pretty drastic death. So, with no further ado, let's crack on and get into this. So, for a while now, I've been making some videos on this subject of how the slow decline of PUBG has been slowly creeping forwards, and it's not really been getting addressed by the devs, even though there's big streamers on it like Chopper and so forth are talking about it and trying to expose it a bit more, myself and other streamers as well. But yeah, there's no real attention being paid by the devs because like the cheating is absolutely rampant on PUBG console. I guess it is on most platforms now and PUBG in general, but we're here to talk about console. So from what I've seen, it's absolutely rife with the use of mouse and keyboard for a controller-based game, which Bluehole have come out and said in post that they don't want mouse and keyboard being used on the console. And I've had a lot of people, when I've commented about it, saying, no, it's not cheating. It is cheating. There's no ifs and buts about it. If you use a mouse and keyboards, I don't care if you're a streamer or a pro player, whatever the fuck you are, if you're doing it on the console, you're cheating outright, yeah? And you're a dick for doing it, and just know yourself, yeah? Two twos. The other thing obviously is majorly is the hacks. So the main one is recoil buffer. So you just basically laser in people, and obviously radar. Radar's the real big one. Gives away your position, the direction you're facing. They can throw up 3D models of your person, so they can see what weapons you're packing. They know where the loot is on the map within a certain radius of distance, from what I've been seen and shown. And it's just an outright game breaking thing, obviously, and it's quite common now. I mean, in the average match, you might have say you're playing solos, you might have 3 or 4 people using radar now in most games, in nearly every game, and another majority, or say 40-50% of that lobby will be using mouse and keyboard via a Coronas Max, and the Coronas Max basically blags the PlayStation into thinking that it's a regular PS4 controller, or an analog controller if you like, rather than a mouse and key setup. So that's how they're getting around that, if there is a detector on PUBG for it, which I'm not convinced there is anyway. They were meant to introduce the phone verification, or the two-step verification. Whatever happened to that? I have a suspicion that they probably didn't want to implement it in the end, because they've realised pretty much the remaining player base that is playing this game, 70% of them are probably cheating. So if they went and implemented that, they would just have a dead game pretty much, and there would be normal money earners from the people buying the passes and so on. So yeah, I'm not convinced that the devs really give a fuck about the cheating problem. They're kind of done with the game now. They're just giving us bits and pieces with the updates and whatnot. I'm just trying to refine it that way. They're not really that bothered about the cheating situation, from what I can see, because they haven't done anything to address it. It's just getting worse and worse by the day. And yeah, and also it's not being addressed by a lot of the big other streamers that I see. They're all complaining about bots, which we'll get into, and the game perks for, the things that make the game better just in general. So like the less lag, this, that and the other, but we'll get into that again in a minute when I finish talking about the cheating. So for me, there's a lot of the big streamers are cheating. A lot of them are also co-signing for the cheats. Like, I'm not going to mention names, but I've been in games where the guys, it's obvious people in our team are cheating. When I've died and watched them on our cam, and I've reported them because they've been in my team. And then when I've made a comment in the group that we're in, the party group with about 15 of us in there, all quite well known people and that, I'm not, bro, I've just got to hurt radar, and the mateys picked it up and go, oh no, it's all about the settings, you can kick, what? You can snap onto people like that with bollocks. Not every person can do that, and there's very few that can. And it's obvious that the man's using radar because he knew where people were behind mounds when he had no clear line of sight on them. He had no indicators like gunfire or anything, and he knew where they were. Even people know what I'm talking about when it comes to spotting these things. It's pretty self-explanatory. And this guy was like, oh, it's all about the settings. No, mate. The guy's cheating, and you clearly know he's cheating. And I'm suspicion that you cheated in your past, because you were meant to be known as one of the top players in the world at that point, and I'm pretty sure you were probably cheating to get there, and now you've stopped cheating because you've got a player base watching you. This is what a lot of the big streamers don't realise, and a lot of the other people watching the big streamers don't realise. A lot of these guys are all ex-cheaters, and what they've done is quite a sneaky thing. They've stopped cheating because they've now got a viewer base, but to get there they cheated. So how do you think they were getting all these spectacular kills after time after them were cheating? And now they've got a viewer base. They've stopped, or they're not using the hacks as much, or they're not using the cheats as much, and it's obvious. I've watched a few of them do this, and I've watched a few of these YouTubers grow via doing this, and it's a pretty standard formula. You'll cheat, because you've got to realise there's money in this. Once you start getting monetized on YouTube, on Twitch, you start making a bit of money, and people want to try to make livings out of this. So yeah, they're going to start fighting. In the fight game, people will take steroids to get the upper hand. People are doing this regularly, and it's just ruining the game for the average player. The people that just want to come down and chill out on the game and are not trying to make their livelihoods out of this thing, you know. But that's the thing. A lot of these big YouTubers and big Twitch people are not exposing it because they're part of the problem. Because they're ex-cheaters themselves, some of them. I'm not saying all of you, but I'm saying some of you. And it's obvious, and you know who you are, and I know who you are, and a few of the other lads know who you are. Making names of cheaters and then co-signing for them because you know what they're doing, and then you used to be part of that. Maybe you still co-sign for it, maybe you still down with that, I don't know, but it's pretty obvious. Anyway, rant of the cheating's over. So cheating is the number one issue why people are leaving this game in their hordes. There's no other reason but cheating. It's the number one reason, and you know, I want YouTube cats to get that in your head. It's the number one. And you need to start addressing it more as the number one issue for PUBG. We're talking about PUBG. The number one issue about PUBG is cheating. No ifs, no buts, no fucking maybes. Yeah, that's the biggest issue. Now we'll get onto some other issues, such as the bots. So, the implementation of bots is to do with the lack of people on the servers and so forth. And I mean, a lot of that's come down to falls back again down to numbers running away from the game because of cheaters, but then they just wanted to also the amount of maps that we've got, so it splits the player base what is remaining that hasn't left the game. So obviously they implemented bots, and now if the bots were implemented well, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I remember the bots on Flashpoint, I didn't mind them. Yeah, they were easier to kill than normal people, but you could control them and this, that and the other, and it was still entertaining. And Flashpoint is still a game which I rant and rave about to this day on the PS3. Years ahead of its time, fucking years. They were right about military tech being ahead of civilian tech, because that's what it was, military tech, that game. And it shows to this day. Even now, that game will fucking wank all over Battlefield, all over COD, all over these mainstream games that you're seeing. Apart from the real nice ones that are coming out on PC now, obviously, because they've got the power to run it. But Flashpoint was ahead of its time. Anyway, I digress. But the bots in that game and the AI on them were half decent. They were challenging enough. So I can't see why PUBG can't get the bots right, you know. And I don't have any problem with them personally. I think it's better playing with bots than it is playing with cheaters. Yes, it's easier, and yeah, it's a cheaper win. But I tell you what, I don't get as much frustrated as I do by getting whacked out by mouse and keyboarders or fucking people using radar and so on. So it's not even a big thing to me. People like other YouTubers like Boris, Average Sniper, they've been moaning their guts out about, and I understand, I'm not taking the piss, I actually respect both them guys' channels. Boris, big up to you, and Average Sniper, big up to you. But you boys are missing the point, mate. You're missing the fucking the penny here, and the penny is the cheating, not the bots. The bots are a slight issue for some, but I think a lot of us can live with it. Personally, I can. I know, Boris, you couldn't, because you mentioned it enough times in your videos and I've commented on it. So, as I say, no disrespect meant there, big man, but we've just got different, obviously, varying opinions on what PUBG's issues are. And the bots, for me, yeah, I could live with or without them. It's not a big thing to me, but the cheating needs to stop. Another issue is the DDoSing again. That comes again through another way of cheating. That's happening quite a lot, getting kicked out of matches by people somehow. I'm not a big tech head, so I don't really know the ins and outs of how that all works. So if you do know, please leave it in the comments for me so I can educate myself further, because I'm still learning. I'm still trying to. I've only just started doing this whole sleuth thing on these cheaters, car. I'm pissed off with it all. I come back from a day of laying bricks, and I want to chill out, smoke a zoo, chill out, play a bit of PUBG and enjoy my evening a little bit. But then it gets ruined by these little bellends cheating, wasting my fucking time. So now it's personal, like I've said before. So I'm coming for your stinky asses. You done know, yeah. So that's the DDoSing thing's another issue. Then you've got the quality of life issues on the game, like the lag, the rendering is still awful, especially on the Miramar. When you say we all go for the most popular spot, which is Picardo, yeah, half of us, unless you've got a solid state drive, and I don't know because I haven't got one. You land in there first, and you can't see shit. You're falling around the place trying to going through walls and whatnot. That's still an issue 2 years on into the game, or however long this game's been fucking running. Piss take, yeah. The lagging's piss take. The hit registration for me is quite a big issue. Half the time my shots are not registering, and it's clear as day I was on point with my shooting and this, that, and the other. And it's just a fucking same old desync and all this other bollocks, and I'm getting tired of it. So that's another issue. So what's that, 3 or 4 now we've got so far? And then for me, this is more of a personal issue because I come from a milsim background. So we used to play Battlefield 4 briefly with milsim settings, which means 1 or 2 shots to your chest, you're dead. No ifs, no buts. 1 shot to the head, you're gone. That's with a pistol, with a carbine, or what have you. So we're used to hard settings. And this game, when I first come to it, was not bad for it. It wasn't exactly milsim settings, but it wasn't far off. Couple of shots, a good burst with any rifle or gun, you were dead in this. Now it's just turned into a bullet soaking, nerfed fucking battle. Rely on quick reflexes and quick twitch reflexes and so on and so forth, and it's just become a fucking joke. And for that reason, for me, it's starting to drive me away, because I used to see this game as a good realistic-ish, I put that in there in brackets, realistic-ish shooter, tactical shooter with a squad or on solos. You could quite easily take a squad here from Battlefield and teach them how to navigate a battlefield using tactics, stealth, and all the other bits you'd use in squad training, and it's quite good, this game. But now it's just turned into an absolute nerfed shoot 'em up, turning into Battlefield 5, where it takes fucking half a magazine to drop someone, and in the squad situation, that's no good. So that's another thing for me that's just killing it completely. They need to upgrade the damage on this game, I think, massively. That would make it a lot more interesting and a lot more competitive, because then the people just using quick sensitivities and not using any tactics at all don't have the advantage. The people using the tactics have the advantage, and that's what it should be about for me. That's what this game was about. Yeah, so that will be me probably once Sandstorm comes, which I'm waiting for on the console desperately for the milsim reasons I've just stated. We'll be going straight to that. And another shout out to Mr. Devlin from Restless Natives Gaming and that. He does a lot for he's a PC player, but he actually does a lot in the way of trying to keep us up to date on the console about what's coming on with that. So another shout out to Mr. Devlin for doing that. Big up you. Always correspond with you. You're a good man. Another UK man putting in work. He's not even on 1,000 subs yet, and he should be. He's around 600-700, and he should be. So if you go help him out with some subs, it would be appreciated. And he can actually start monetizing, and he's actually doing a lot for the consoles on this game. So I know I digress, but shout out to Mr. Devlin. Yeah, so that's pretty much it really for my PUBG rant of this. Just patch is not impressed. Stupid skins on the guns and on the people. I'm not really impressed. I'd like more realism, but if you agree or disagree, like, subscribe, do what you like, but show some love. Yeah, tune in next time, see what's happening. God bless.